Attention Californians, before you pay any bill at a restaurant, you might want to focus in on a new fee that's becoming more popular, the living wage fee of 18%. This fee is dine-in only and it goes directly to staff payroll and provides a living wages to the team. And if you choose a tip, that's extra. I'm not saying that people who work in restaurants shouldn't get paid. If you serve people, you should definitely get paid what you're worth. So if you're out and about eating, pay attention to the menu. You should see the fee on there so you're not surprised at the end. But there are restaurants that have added the fee, but they haven't updated their menu yet. And if that happens, you can tell them to remove the fee because by law, they're not allowed to.
I saw this trend and I had to talk about it. I had to do some research on it. Last time I was in California, I noticed some things were like this, totally different than being in Florida. I want to see what your comments are in the comment section below. This is interesting. So I did some research, New York Post, couple other news articles on this. So I had to make sure it was legit. But it seems like, yes, they're naming these surcharges other things. Whether they can name it a cost of living, they name it a surcharge, they name it whatever, and you'll see them at the bottom of your bill. And when I was in California, I noticed that they had the right to do a surcharge. And you know, when you think about this in Florida, it's like a totally like, whoa, 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 whoa. You're starting to see all types of fees for carryout fees now, for mandatory tip on carryout fees. So I started wondering, like, what is the cost of going out to dinner? Right? Is it the cost of the food? But now it's mandatory to put these tips on there, but it's not a tip anymore. To ensure prompt service is now a surcharge. And then if you want to tip, it's on top of the surcharge. Now I believe everybody should be compensated for their time. But we started at 15%, then 20, now we're thinking 30. Now there's a mandatory surcharge. You're gonna have to tip on top of that. So we're looking at 38, 48% on top of your bill just to go eat dinner. And you know, the data is saying that people are not going to restaurants and they're going to restaurants much less. And now that it costs so much more to eat out, at what point are people going to say, you know, enough is enough? When people stop going to the restaurants, then the servers don't get tipped, and it's like this crazy circle of events.
Fast food workers in California get $20 an hour. You guys are aware, right? Let me know in the comments. Regular minimum wage in California is $16.50 an hour. Social media is exploding with a living wage fee that's being added at restaurants. The law that allows them to do this was passed in 2024, but now more and more restaurants are doing this and it's on their menus. They have to disclose it before they can charge it. They can charge 18 to 23%. So on a $100 bill, it's between $18 and $23, and that's not a tip. Restaurants aren't putting this in there because they say they can't afford to pay their employees a $20 an hour wage and they need your help. You have to ask yourself, do you want $20 an hour in fast food restaurants where you live? The reality of it is skeleton crews, bad service. So did it make the restaurant industry better? A lot of really good restaurants have closed in California due to it. Do you think it's fair that they're charging this wage? It's not a tip. You still have to tip at that restaurant if you want the waiter to be taken care of. It's really just another way to tax you on money that's already been taxed.
I told the story the other day about how we went to a minor league baseball game and we spent $20 in tips just getting over-the-counter stuff. And we've normalized, now you spin the big screen around, there's 20, 30, 35, write in your own tip, big screen, lady spins it around in front of all the people in the line, and there you are. What are you going to tip? You're tipping now for things we used to not tip. Now, you used to valet a car. Hey, man, here's 20 bucks. Here's 50 bucks. Thanks. Thanks for doing what you're doing. Thanks for being fast. Give me my car. Now it's, oh, I ordered an apple over the counter, and now I'm paying $2 extra for a tip because I feel bad. Everybody else is staring at me, and I'm guilted into a tip. Now, what do you think about that? It's, to me, we're tipping for things we used to not tip for. And you go to the airport, you get a coffee, they want to tip. You are at the gas station, now they're wanting a tip. How far is this going to go? Is this just an added 30% tax on top of everything? 25% tax on everything? Comments down below. I foresee this being a major problem. I mean, the cost to run a business is crazy. I mean, everything is tacked on, you know, whether it's from insurance to lawyers to food costs to inflation of everything. And we're fixing to see some more inflation going on in what we've seen this weekend. We see this movement to add one more thing on the bill, tip on the bill. And then I foresee business owners owners are starting to say, you know what, I can't go up anymore on the food costs. So I have to divvy out that payroll tax, the inflation, everything I have to do with my workers, and an extra surcharge, and then the cost of the food and another charge. I'm just wondering, hey, restaurants, are you just not going to pay your employees? Are you not paying your employees? Last time I got taxed on a takeout, it was a mandatory, and if it's mandatory, then it's a tax, but they go a mandatory tip for takeout, 10%. So I asked the waitress, I was like, are you not paying your employees? Like, is the owner not paying the sushi chef or the chef created it? Because there was no waiter involved. You just handed it to me at the counter. So are we not paying the sushi chefs? Because the 10% mandatory tip goes to the sushi chef. And it was just me, okay? It wasn't 8 people, 9 people, it was just me. I was like, fine, I'm fine with the tip, but you're making it mandatory and you're making it 10%. Are you not paying the employees? In a lot of this, we need to have the conversation, are we paying the employees? Or is the tip a circumvented way of paying the employee and then putting that burden off on person buying the food instead of buying the food and then the employer has to pay the employee? So it's like, we've just divided it up and it's passed on to the person who's coming to the restaurant. What do you think? Comments down below. Am I wrong on this? Am I right on this? Will these states survive that are allowing this to happen? And if you're a lawmaker out there, you need to start really thinking, hey, have we gone past the idea of tip? Do we have to force restaurants to pay their employees, streamline these bills? Because what are we actually paying? And I see litigation coming from this, because when I see a mandatory tip, it's no longer a tip. It's a mandatory fee for going to that restaurant. It's a service fee. It's a fee as a patron I have to pay when I go to buy the food. So how much is the food? I'm fine with paying for the food, whatever that may be. Inflation has hit us so hard, you need to either raise the price of the food to pay your employees what they should be paid per state law, per federal, whatever it is, or are we just paying a tip? We got to figure this out. It's gotten too crazy. And and here's another one. If you're a business and you're buying food for a business expense, what is now taxable? Okay, what is a tax business expense? Okay, tip usually I don't think is included into that. It's usually just the cost of the food. But if we have a mandatory 20-30% on top of that, and let's say you're buying food for a large amount, then that's quite a bit amount of money. And in the last few years, underneath Biden, I think it was in Trump the time before, business expenses on food were highly deductible. I think it was 50% and it was 100%, I think, during the pandemic, you know? So this is a serious issue. This is a serious thing. Has serious ramifications for the state at every level and for the federal government as far as taxes. So what are we paying for? I want to hear your comments. Right, wrong, up, down, left, right, because this discourse is how we learn and how we change things. And I'll see you guys in the next video. This one was interesting.